hate every moment of this because he's so wrong.
Let's let the comment section decide.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Sean, and I am here to tell you to hop on that Patreon page. We got ourselves exclusives that no one else in the world gets to check out. If you liked our discussion here, you get the full audio version, completely uncut, with a bunch of topics that we didn't have time to put in the video. We really appreciate you guys. Head on over there, get us a bit of support, and now I will stop yapping, and we'll get on with the damn discussion.
It's got the look. It's like you're literally the rabbit who sees you on the sidewalk, and you're just like.
Your whole body is like telling you something.
Speaking of rabbits,
Speaking of
bunny rabbits, what's going on? Y'all, it's me, Sean Tank Top, and we're over here at the Burlington Bar. What would be the flip version of the Burlington? The Hurlington?
No, it's always what's another town in Vermont?
Wait, are there other towns in Vermont?
Because there's Burlington, Vermont.
Sandersville?
The Sandersville.
The Sandersville.
And then just woods, right?
Sandersville Woods.
Sandersville Woods. I'd watch that.
We are getting together to talk about a very special movie that I just saw like about fucking
it's fresh for this.
Highly fresh.
Like an hour
ago. You guys
ago.
are going to be catching me up.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peele's Us.
Us.
It's us.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Across America. A really, really fucking interesting, unique, vision of, a horror film. And, a great way to kind of, it's like the first, kind of marquee horror picture of the year, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, okay, all right, you got to pick it up. Conjuring 18 or whatever the fuck it is, whatever.
I kind of.
You know what I'm saying?
We're getting a lot of them this year, very early on in the year. Yeah. It's like this,
we
Pet
got
Sematary.
Pet Sematary, where I'm like, Pet Sematary, I hear really good things, but it's like, man, what if you had to follow us?
Let's do our first impressions. Max, go.
I would compare this to, as Jordan Peele as a storyteller, I would compare it to this is like George Romero going from Night of the Living Dead to Dawn of the Dead, where just the scope expanded in a very lovely way. Get Out's a very claustrophobic movie. And the early trailers made Us seem like it might also have been like a claustrophobic home invasion, but that's such a small part of it.
Yeah.
And when you see the movie and you see the scope of it, you're like, wow, you really did. It's like Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2. You got to ramp that shit up.
Yeah.
And I thought he did an amazing job. It's a layer cake of a movie with it's one of those movies I have a good time looking for all the hidden meanings and Easter eggs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Morgan, what you got, girl?
Man, it was one of those movies, I enjoyed it, even though I hated it when I was watching it.
Yeah, right.
But immediately after, I was like, I liked it, but I don't know if I could. I love it, and then it just stuck with me for since I've seen it, and just it's in my head. I'm constantly thinking about it, and then I'm like, the more time goes on, the more I'm like, fuck, it worked.
Yeah.
Whatever he was trying to do, it worked because I'm constantly thinking about this movie and reading hot takes.
Yeah.
And I want to rewatch it 10 more times.
And you want to do it ferociously. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I'm just looking
But you
forward.
want
I'm
to.
looking forward to just consuming all of the literature and the media and dissection, stuff like that. Dustin, you're the only motherfucker in this room that has seen it twice.
Twice in 4 days.
Have you seen it twice?
No, I've only seen it one time.
You've only seen it once, Morgan?
Only once, but I'm going again this weekend.
We made a mandate, and this morning, and we went and saw the movie. And you saw it for a second time.
Yeah.
I remember you said some interesting things as we were walking out. What did you think about it?
Piggybacking off what Morgan said, I enjoyed it. This is a very unique movie. The problem with a Pet Sematary is we're going in with preconceived notions. We already had.
We've experienced it twice.
We've had a Pet Sematary. And so this is a fresh movie, and the only thing we really have to hold it up against is Get Out.
Yeah.
And only because it's the same auteur and the same person that's bringing it to this world. And it's a triumph. at first I had a lot of questions and a lot of not concerns, but a lot of things where I'm like, wait, why did he do that? And then when you see it a second time, those things smooth out quite a bit, and it definitely does stick with you, and you really keep finding new little things to talk about.
Little touches.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Get Out, there were just like very little subtle like pieces of performances and stuff like that are kind of lying in wait on the second viewing.
Yeah,
and that you just catch a lot more. This one's more. This one. I guess I'll just give my quick impressions and then we'll get into spoilers and stuff like that. Keep away. Get out. Get out.
Somebody said "Get Out" in the movie, and I turned to Joyce and I was like, right. Said "Get Out."
Yeah, you see there. This is like I'm really happy that we have like a as unique and as interesting a voice that's also like has a lot of critical success. This movie just came out and made $70 million. It's like the second biggest. It's the second biggest opening for an original an original R-rated movie like ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I'm incorrect,
original meaning not based off.
If I'm incorrect, I'm gonna fucking do it. But it's like as far as like a non-sequel, adaptation. This is literally just from the wellspring of this guy's mind. Yeah, and just I really liked it, and I love it in that regard. Is that he's kind of got the zeitgeist, and he has a lot of clout, and his brand is really holds a lot of respect. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of art housey in a little bit. It's sort of zany. It's sort of it's also very broad and very much like a crowd pleaser. And this can play to the punk snot nosed film school kid in me, but it can also just be like I could also show this to like my mom, and she'd be like, "It's like, well, it's
bringing people into the kind of shit that like we watch on a daily basis." Absolutely. Like definitely like got some splashings of like Argento and Romero,
100%. Yeah, and so it was just like and anytime that is happening in general, like at the movies, even if I don't even necessarily like it, like we went like Suspiria, the Suspiria remake. Like I'm up and down on a lot of things about that film, but it was swinging for the fences. It was really trying something different. Really had a voice, and this one does, and I think by and large, it really works. Also, props to the trailer department because
we're not showing anything.
This is how you do, and that you could tell because that was a big thing about Get Out that a lot of people said. Was that the trailer kind of revealed too many plot points to that movie, and I thought that was very true, and you can tell that Jordan Peele is very much a part of the marketing department and making decisions in that regard because he I think most of the shit that you've seen from the trailers only really touches on like the first act.
Yeah, before you even.
And then after that, you're just in fucking literally in some cases uncharted waters.
Yeah, when the movie opens up with a blurb of words, white text on a black background, and it's pertaining. We'll get into it in the spoilers, but it's pertaining to something. I'm like, oh. We're getting into this?
Yeah.
I was like, I never would have got that.
If we're getting into spoilers, are we going to spoilers?
All right, okay. Because we don't typically do this most of the time when we're just like, go fuck yourself. Like, go have a drink of water and get fucked. Because like we're gonna start talking about spoilers immediately.
Yeah.
But we actually really like this.
You can tell how reverential we are right now.
If you're even ever thinking about seeing, it's an inkling of seeing this movie. Please go in just blind, please,
if you can. And I said, and also props to everybody over the weekend because I remember I was fucking bartending here the other night, and then all of a sudden I realized like, oh shit, almost everybody at the bar has seen it, and at one point was talking about it. So like I'm walking by, and and the dude's like, hey buddy, can I get a drink? And I'm just like, not making money.
We all lowered our voices whenever you would walk by. So it's like you'd be on this side of the bar, I was here, and this side would be like, okay, now we can talk quick.
Spoilers, go to this timestamp if you don't want to get spoiled. Just go fucking see the movie first. Just do yourself
wait.
Do yourself that kindness and go see that movie. All right.
You're back. So what I was going to say after the blurb that talks about
tunnels.
There's just tons of tunnels under America. We cut to just a shelf and a TV, and
one of the movies is Chud.
Chud is sitting there, and I'm like, oh, we're dealing with Chuds. I'm excited.
Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers.
It's a backdoor Chud reboot.
It is.
I mean,
right? They're all Chuds. They're all Chuds.
Yeah.
I called them like in my head. They're all Chud.
Yeah, right. Of course, yeah.
Chud Adelaide, Chud Gabe,
Yeah.
Chud Jason,
Chud Rex.
Even though their names are super symbolic, so you should learn their names because there's so much to unpack there.
Pluto was my favorite name.
I know, Jason.
Because it's the one,
Pluto.
might be the one planet in the solar system that never gets the light of the sun. Is why he's named Pluto.
Right.
Or Pluto from Disney, who looks like a human.
Get through one video without talking about that fucking satanic fucking pagan temple with the mouse ears.
Pluto looks like a dog, and in dog Disney acts like human, but Pluto in
acts like a dog in the
acts like or an animal. Or
all right, let's kind of basically.
We need to stop.
Everybody in this movie has a doppelganger. Everyone in the country, you find out, has a doppelganger.
Right.
You have a doppelganger.
I thought it was because I originally was like, oh, it's just them, and you find out this is this is
everybody.
for every
Widespread.
Americans.
That was a twist within the middle of the movie when you see Tim Heidecker's family, and then they just get murked by their clones, and you're like, oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I had that feeling. There was one shot, even though the trailer did a great job of not really showing anything, there are a couple shots during the daylight exteriors where I'm like, oh, there's a body behind Lupita Nyong'o. There's like two bodies scattered everywhere. This is like an epidemic. Might be an epidemic kind of thing.
Sure.
But the thing kind of... The thing stems from the fact that everyone has a doppelganger. Whether it's the government, the Illuminati, we're never really told. It's not important. But everyone has a doppelganger that was meant to supplant you if they want to control you. Which I don't know how that would work. We replace Sean with tethered Sean. And it's like, yo, can I get a drink? And he's just like, like how would that?
See, I took it totally different. I thought they meant that they are controlled like puppets, where they could manipulate underground Morgan to no longer like White Claw.
Okay.
How dare they?
It's impossible.
Right? And make White Claw go out of business because they have Illuminati hates White Claw.
Right.
But no,
that's in the beginning when she's talking about the fluoride in the water.
Yeah, whoever's running, because she said, oh, they abandoned it. But when there was scientists down there, they could manipulate the doppelganger to control the tethered above.
Right.
That's what I took.
Oh, I thought they would switch you out if they didn't.
Yeah, right. I thought it was it's like, oh man, I need a pancreas or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Was that Gattaca?
That's really. That's really. It's a giant sandbox that the movie gives us, but it's a story within this sandbox because the fact that there's tunnels and clones and doppelgangers really isn't the point of the movie.
No.
The point of the movie is Adelaide and her specific story, and it doesn't. You don't get that until you watch the movie.
To watch the whole thing,
beginning to end.
Man, dude. Okay, even just going forward and just establishing everybody and just we've been a champion. If you've listened to any of our stuff on our Oscar episode of our podcast. Which you should go check out wherever you can find podcasts. But we were a big champion of Hereditary, and how Toni Collette did such an amazing job. Fucking Lupita Nyong'o in this movie.
If she doesn't get an Oscar, but she won't because they don't like horror.
They don't
like horror. Oh, Jordan Peele's been shutting this shit down. The thing that fucking horror fans, I think, one of the things horror fans hate the most is if a horror movie becomes lauded and praised and starts winning awards, then it starts getting referred to as a thriller.
Right.
It's because horror just can't. It just can't. Silence of the Lambs was a thriller.
Right.
It's a fucking horror movie.
Right.
Jordan Peele has been he retweeted some article referred to it as a thriller, and he just was like, it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie.
There's
stabbings, there's whatever, but
horror movies are good.
He essentially hangs I mean, the whole. Not to say that I don't think that if she wasn't in it, that the movie wouldn't work. I think it's incredibly. I think it's well written. It's well directed.
Yeah.
It's really well. It's, the craftsmanship is there, but being able to bring both characters.
That performance.
She plays two really complicated characters.
Yeah.
And she also has that one of these characters has a secret that they have to hide the whole movie.
Yeah.
And she does an amazing job.
Right.
Also, God, Lupita Nyong'o is like offensively attractive.
Yeah, she's
so beautiful.
Even when she's like crazy eyed and has like scissors to stab you,
she got hotter at that point.
I'm just like, shit. Well, also I just like how it's so subtle. It's in like facial twitches and like little tiny like escapings of gruntings that she's trying to not do, and like everybody kind of complains like I figured out the twist at the beginning, and it's like so did I sort of. But because I didn't know,
I did too. But then they do a good job of making you forget.
Because it becomes more about like the experience. You're experiencing the story, and you kind of get that.
The twist isn't like the. It's not
like. It doesn't even matter.
It's not like
It matters. It matters everything, because the fact that real Adelaide is the one who started the revolution. So it's like, it had it not been for that switch, we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah, it's true. Right.
That's why I said there's a sandbox, but it's about Adelaide.
Yeah.
And
It's
Red.
all about her, right?
Yeah.
So it's her and like the kids are all really good. Winston Duke.
Oh, he's so the funniest guy in the movie.
He's great. Like
Yeah.
he's like I thought him coming off of like being like pretty much the only thing that I ever saw him in was Black Panther.
Yeah.
And it's like this incredibly imposing guy, and you expect him to start doing that like Waraka, like do.
I got this. Hey!
He's just such a dumb.
He's such a dork.
Dad.
Yeah.
I
thought it was
love
great.
Gabe because he would marry and have like 2 children with a chud. Just be like, I don't care. You're sexy. You're funny.
He's
funny.
very good at playing like dorky
he
dad.
would.
Yeah.
When he's trying to get before we know they're doppelgangers, when he's like trying to scare him off the front lawn. It's
Let's get crazy.
It's like nobody's afraid of you, man.
Yeah, right, even though you're like 6'6" and you're built like a fucking fullback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm excited because I feel like Adelaide / Chud Adelaide. It's like I feel like she could tell him. She could be like, "Oh, I kind of figured it out," and he'd be like, "Ah, it's all right." Because I mean, even though she is a chud, she's still her.
But honestly, my favorite is the actress that played the oldest daughter. Like her facial expressions of when she's like terrified, which are juxtaposed exactly at the same time as her with like that like sort of like low.
Very Kubrick, like brow stare.
Yeah, and then just like this sort of like
very unsettling,
creepy Joker smile that kind of like it's like the scene where she's on top of the car and she goes down and the guy's like,
it's great.
"Hey, get off my car!" She was like,
"Yeah."
Do you think the reason that because it's not like totally established, I think, how much the behavior of real you graphs itself onto like the tethered version of you.
Like
but do you think the reason that she had such dark circles around her eyes is because real her was just on her phone staring at her screen the whole movie?
Interesting. I think that everybody. I think they all look kind of weird and tired though, from what I understand.
Because the father, Abraham, or Chud father, he specifically needed. That's why he took the real version of his glasses. Because he has the same weak eyes that his real version had, that's indicative of the overall theme of the movie itself, which is this is ultimately a story about haves and have-nots. It's told to you in the beginning through the jealousy between the two families. Like look at Tim Heidecker's new boat, look at his new car, and everything.
The backup generator.
While you're jealous of your neighbor's material possessions, there's a whole race of people underneath your feet that have nothing, but they are still you. And that's, I think,
they got their
two Americans.
They got their
Tale
keto
of two
diet.
Americans. That's like
their keto diet.
Their keto
their
diet.
bloody raw rabbit diet.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right? No, the thrill of it. I just love that there was just like a lot of just like performance-based scares. which I think is actually pretty rare.
Yeah.
I think that
No jump scares.
I mean, like, yeah,
There was
it
two
was
small
about
ones, but that's it.
Yeah, and
but didn't rely on them.
which you should have. I mean, like, you know, honestly, but like but not relying on them. That's not the crux of everything they're doing. Where it's like this is more the reason that it sticks with you is because I'm just thinking of Lupita's face. I'm just thinking about that kid and just like the.
Yeah,
that weird noise, just these weird touches that these people worked on. That I don't know. That you know, it's like you didn't need like it's not a big CGI thing. It's not like a crazy amount of prosthetics or something crazy like like
you just need really good actors.
The shit that is going to stick in my mind is something that is like a choice that an actor and a director came up with. It was so fucking great.
They won't stop until they kill us.
I feel like, what was her evil plan to, like, come to the surface, fall in love with a man, like, raise two beautiful children who are, like, loving and love each other.
Nice kids,
They're great kids. She did a really good job, and her husband loves her, and she loves her husband, and it's a really healthy family union. It's why they didn't get murdered, because the unhealthy douchebag family, they got married because they're, like, separate.
I disagree with everything she's saying,
but
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
This is my theory: is that family unit, because they're so cohesive, is why they survived, because they stuck together. Or it could be because the kids are half chud. They are.
I think the reason, because you saw what happened to Handmaiden family. Handmaiden's awesome show, great job. No, because you see how quickly they just get murked. For the most part, everyone gets murked. Their family doesn't just get immediately iced because this is revenge.
They want it slow. They want it slow.
You got to slow cook it, and she's great wife, great family, paid for. That in with a horrible sin, and now you're fucking.
She was a baby chud. Could you imagine as sociopathic as normal
we're getting into like Jamie Lannister stuff where I'm like, fucking great guy, still pushed a kid out a window.
If he did it when he was 8 years old, I would be like, well, he was an 8-year-old. They don't have any like concept. They're little crazies. They don't have concepts of actions. She's a baby. She
very innocently handcuffed the real her to a bed after crushing her windpipe. She was evil. She was born evil.
I don't know. No, they're not born evil. She was surviving.
I don't know if I could put that much of a read on
okay. There's crimes of passion, which are usually like what Abraham would do, where he's just like a homunculus and he's just like the evil, the chud husband. Sure. Then there's premeditated, methodical, crushing the windpipe, handcuffing to the bed, switching the shirt. That's not the actions of an innocent person.
It's an action of someone trying to survive.
Yeah.
She's just trying to survive.
I'm not I'm definitely not faulting her, but she's not a saint, and this is why. And she also fucked over the entire world with her decision.
She didn't know that. She was a baby chud,
God.
baby chuds.
All right, we're getting a little
unfit for anything human, and unlikely to bring anyone down there. So they're coming up. Chud. They're not staying down there anymore.
So at the very end, I want everybody to choose their chud name.
Their chud name?
So think about it now.
Okay.
Choose your chud name wisely.
Right. For being as big of an insufferable Star Trek nerd as I am, who I'm very quick to pick apart logical fallacies in movies. Sure. I'm in such awe of the skill that this movie went into that I'm able to ignore a lot, because I'm thinking the whole time I'm like okay, so your clone is underneath your feet in Chicago. You go on, let's say you take a trip to New York, you meet your future wife in New York. Her clone would be in New York.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be together. Your clone versions of you wouldn't be together. Also, as far as the kids go, that's not how sperm works. That's not how eggs work.
And do they have
they wouldn't just be your actual kids.
Right.
Even though you had a baby with clone version, same guys. You'd have completely different kids. But I'm willing to, but the movie's so good, I'm willing to just not think about it. No. Whereas if this were an episode of Star Trek, I'd be like, hold on.
It's a well, no, and it goes back to Get Out, and it goes back to what Jordan Peele is going to actually be literally doing is it's kind of like a bit of a Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah,
so,
totally.
I mean, like it's a Twilight Zone type of a story where it's like there is like an established, almost science fiction horror type of element to this thing, but it's also it's a movie about ideas.
Yeah.
No, okay. So favorite. This movie is laden with Easter eggs, symbolism, all sorts of things. My favorite, my top three were: one, Easter egg doesn't have any meaning, but when they're on the Santa Cruz boardwalk in the flashbacks in 1986, Adelaide's mother says to her father, "Hey, I heard they were shooting a movie down there. See if they need extras." She's talking about Lost Boys.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yes, she was.
Which the implications of that made me go like, oh my god, there's a fucking underneath, there's a Chud Kiefer Sutherland, there's a Chud saxophone man.
Chud saxophone.
Yeah.
I still believe.
My favorite clue I think was when they're listening to Five. I Got Five on it. How her rhythm is off. Very disturbing.
Get in rhythm. There you go.
In the trailer.
And I think that symbolizes that, because she's like, you share the body, but only one can have the soul, and that establishes like you got no soul, you have no rhythm,
Fuck.
And then the song choice of I got now tinfoil hat, but like the song itself, I Got Five on it. What is that song about? The song is about a guy who wants to buy a dime bag of weed, but he only has $5. So he calls his friend and says, "Hey, I got 5 on it, you got 5 on it, we match." It's about two becoming whole.
He was wearing that Jaws shirt, and it was like Jaws' daytime horror. And this movie is mostly, not totally, but a lot of it is daytime horror, which I fucking love. Anything that can do daytime horror well, I was terrified on that beach for no reason. Like nothing really.
Holding his hands out.
Yeah, because he got there early, and he was like, "Oh shit, I'm so embarrassed. I gotta go pretend to look on my phone."
I showed up early to the revolution.
11 guy definitely was like, I have to go find his phone and pretend to look at it.
He had the easiest job because his target was right outside the entrance.
It was just like
to the tunnel.
And probably fucked up.
Yeah, right. He's high. He's like, I can get high for my next half of the shift or whatever, and then he sees himself. You know what I mean?
He's like, oh, that makes sense. Hey man, what's going on? You got $1?
His shift of being homeless and holding a sign.
Oh, not no. I was thinking of the whack-a-mole guy.
Oh, yeah.
The whack-a-mole guy, he was also, like, right there.
Yeah.
Too. There's a lot of stuff that's getting served up pretty easy.
They know where we are.
Okay, so my name is Morgan. So that's like kind of like Morgan, like a morning in German.
Oh.
So I feel like it would. I don't know what it would be, but I feel like it wouldn't be nighttime in German. It would be nighttime in like French or something, or like a name that was like meant nighttime in another language that sounded like a name.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is. But that would be what my chud name would be.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't know what your chud name would
Well, I have the idea of it. We did not prepare.
Cool story, bro.
I'm workshopping it. If anybody has...
My chud name, and just, I don't know why it came to me as soon as he floated the idea. My chud name would be Zero. Because max means maximum.
Oh, that's so good.
man.
That one's perfect.
Right.
And originally when we started this channel, you gave me the handle of Too Cool to Cry for Hodor, so I could be Zero Cool from Hackers.
Wow.
Sleeves.
Shit.
I got your chud name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Dermis. Dermis being short for epidermis, which is skin, and dust is just dead skin.
There you go.
Dermis!
There we
yeah.
go. All right, we got it. All right.
I mean, your chud name is not always your opposite, but because we don't have actual characters for our chuds yet. Because, like, for example, my
chud would be like a clean cut guy with like wearing a suit, like working a 9 to 5.
I think
downtown,
looks
you know what
like
I mean?
you.
Like, final thoughts. Go see the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Please go see this movie. It's really good. I mean, it's already making a shitload of money,
Yeah.
and it feels really good. It's like a movie that's being rewarded for its creativity and for its like strident vision, you know. And I don't know. We just really appreciate it, and we appreciate hanging out with you guys.
Also, tell us your
yes.
chud name in the comments.
Oh my God! If you got a chud name,
Please
dude,
tell
name.
us your chud name.
So good.
Yeah, if you got a chud name, let us know what it would be in the comments. What would be? We would be. Well, like, what's the Watchers in the Bar, but the Chud version?
Watchers
Would be
under
like,
the bar.
The what?
Watchers under the bar.
Like the blindfolded in the conference room. Something like,
Or just like
the blindfolded in church. Like,
Oh man, there you go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Here's the creepy one. The listeners in the bathroom.
all right, y'all. If you
Goodness
guys want to see an extended version of this conversation with all this stuff that we
Do
weren't able to
you?
get into,
We went off on some
that didn't
tangents.
That didn't make the cut. You guys can head over to our Patreon.
the cut.
The cut. Oh!
Ow!
We're all up in there, but if you guys
Ow!
all right, hit us up on Patreon.com for all that extra stuff, and we will see you motherfuckers later.
Listen to the podcast.
We'll see you.